Okay, the Tusk Pilot panniers. These are a pretty new release from Rocky Mountain ATV, and I just completed my first trip with them. I rode about 900 miles on my 1200 GS out to Prescott, Arizona and back, did some dirt roads, did some twisty roads, freeway, and everything in between. So I just want to give you my thoughts on these bags. So I prefer soft luggage when I travel. I don't like to use hard bags just because I worry about my leg kicking back and hurting my leg or my ankle on the hard bags if I'm off-road or I dab, or if my leg comes off the peg for some reason. I just feel that soft panniers are much safer, and if I bump into them somehow, I just don't get injured. So I think it's kind of the way most people are starting to go, is the soft bags. I have used hard bags before, and I just much prefer the soft one. So anyway, why did I get these? So I've been a big supporter of the guys at Rocky Mountain and Tusk for a long time, and try to order stuff from them whenever I can. So these are an excellent value. I think that's the reason most people are going to be looking at them. These retail for $199, at least when I purchased them. There was like a 10% off kind of a deal, so I paid, I think, $179, which is kind of crazy for bags, which I'll get to in a second. So in terms of, you know, do these compete with like some of those really high-end bags like the Moscow Motos and stuff? Probably not in terms of quality. I don't have those other bags myself, but from looking at them, you know, those are very high quality, and I think they're waterproof exterior. The Tusk Pilots are not waterproof exterior, but they do come with the waterproof inner bags included with the bags at the $200 price point. I didn't actually use them on this trip because it was totally dry on my 2-day trip. But anyway, so they are waterproof system because they come with the inner bags. So they're not a waterproof out of construction. If you look at some of the buckles and hardware, it works. I think they'll hold up, but could they be stronger and a little bit burlier? Yeah, they could be. But for $200, this is an amazing piece of luggage. Even the Wolfman panniers are up to like $400 or $500 now. Prices for adventure bike parts have gotten kind of out of control. So how they mount is, so I have them mounted on a set of these Givy quick release racks on my GS. And so they'll mount up to any tubular luggage system. You don't need special mounts, so that's great. So they have 4 straps, 2 on each side of the bag, 1 upper, 1 lower. You strap them around your luggage and just loop them back through these fasteners here, and then you can cinch them down depending on how much load you're carrying. Pretty easy to mount, just takes a few minutes. And then this is one downside I was going to talk about. Not really a downside, but so these straps go over your seat, or you can, sometimes people run them under their seat if you want. And these kind of give you more support to hold the bags up. So there's 4 straps, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. And the only thing I would say is that these, I wish they were a little bit wider and burlier, and I wish the clips were a little bit more heavy duty. I feel like these are the kind of things that are kind of prone to breakage over the years from prior experience. I'm not saying that these will break, but I think if you weren't careful, you could break them. Also, the webbing is kind of thin and could be thicker, if I'm being honest. But again, for $200, I don't think you can complain. These held up perfectly fine. I had the bags fully loaded, and you know, the straps down here, so you've got 4 straps to the side rack on each bag, and then 2 straps going over for each bag. So that's quite a lot. I think they distribute the load pretty well. I don't think you're going to have a problem, but just be mindful of it. You're not getting, you know, a huge burly straps there. So let's talk about capacity. So I think these are billed as 35-liter panniers per side. I think so. And I would say that's probably true. It depends on how you have your strap set. And also, it's a roll top bag. So if you just give it, you know, 1 roll, you're going to have more room here at the top than if you roll it, you know, all the way down. But they are adjustable to the size you need. That's the nice thing about soft bags. If you don't need a lot of stuff in them, maybe you're not going camping on that trip, you know, you can cinch them down and make them smaller. Now let me show you. So I'm unpacking for my trip, but to give you a sense of what these things will hold. So let's put the sleeping bag in here. Okay, so my Kelty 20 degrees synthetic sleeping bag takes up about maybe half the room, maybe a little less, so I can still have plenty of room in here for, here's my, what is it, a Big Agnes air core. I can put this in here, I can put more camping gear, so I was able to fit most of my gear for my 2-day camping trip in the saddlebags, and then I had just a small duffel bag up here, real small. So the capacity is really good. In terms of accessing them on the road, just unclip, undo your rolls, and you can get into the bags. These bags worked perfectly for me on my trip. They don't make the bike too wide. I think they achieved the mission that they set out to. I know that Tusk Rocky Mountain is going to bring out a much, well, I've seen it at the rally that I went to, the Flying Monkey rally. They have a higher end version of this, which I think is a waterproof exterior. They're calling it the Olympus, and I think they're coming out in a few weeks around Thanksgiving, so you should probably watch for those. But I think they're like a $400 or $500 bag as opposed to these. I didn't need to spend that much. These work fine for me, and I can put these. Hold on. I can put these on my KLR. So I've got these are actually Tusk racks for my KLR. I would have bought Tusk for the GS if they would have made them, but it's a BMW, so everything costs twice as much, and that's not really Tusk's thing. Anyway, so I can put the bags, actually before the trip I had them mounted on the KLR, so they go easily between bikes, so that's another great feature. So anyway, I hope you guys found the review helpful. I love the Tusk Pilot panniers. They're a great bag for me. I previously had the Rigg Gear dry bags, and I have to say I do prefer the Tusk ones. They're more of a narrow and kind of tall profile. So in my opinion, that works better for a modern adventure bike. The Rigg Gear dry bags, which I think are similar price point, they're pretty good bags, but they're more wide than they are tall, so I wasn't crazy about that. So anyway, check them out at Rocky Mountain. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not affiliated. My channel is non-commercial. So anyway, just an honest opinion. See you guys out there. Ride safe.